Oof.
What's going on, everyone? Hello and welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 42.
42.
Thank you.
42.
Said Hut.
No.
Recorded on August 10th.
Somebody, yeah. Get it.
2025 to get posted to podcast services on Tuesday, August 12th. 2025 to the usual spots. I did Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and then YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio-only version, feel free to come over to YouTube. Check us out there as well on our videos. You can see all of our beautiful faces. You can watch full episodes or segments. All the time code is still there. We try to snip out some interesting clips also. However you choose to enjoy us, thank you very much. And if you're listening to this episode, we just recorded an episode that we'll post in a few days on Friday the 15th. It's a draft for action comedies to celebrate Nobody 2 next week. Check that out.
We did that. Yeah, it was good.
We got an AI companion which we named Jim.
Jim may or may not make a return. We'll
Jim, old Gemini Jim.
Old Gemini Jim.
Gemini.
Jim is so Gemini.
Jim is so Gemini. How Gemini? So Gemini. All right, gentlemen,
Stop
how are we
doing that.
today?
Both of you, stop doing that.
All right. I'm one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me as I do every week are my co-hosts Roger Stillion and Chris Boughan.
Yep.
Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good, man.
We are.
Doing good. Yeah.
Are we we're riding high this week? We had a really good movie to talk about.
We do have a pretty decent film to chat about, I think. So
I'll be honest, we're on a pretty decent streak for the last few weeks.
I think we're about to come to a grinding halt, though. But it's fine. We're very close to no man's land for movie going.
Well, yeah, I mean, Siberia's coming. You know, like we're on that big old train right across. We're crossing Mongolia now,
Yep.
and I mean, you know what's next. It's,
Yeah.
You know, not great.
Yeah.
Not great. It's gonna be
All right. Again,
be some
Chris,
stuff.
I want our fan base to look forward to Chris's Anime Emporium, which is right around the bend now. You know what I'm saying? So
Chris's Anime Emporium.
be one of them days, one of them weeks.
Chris's Hentai
Kidding me?
Emporium.
Whoa.
Whoa. No, some things
No.
are too weird for Chris.
We're little tentacles.
Listen. May have dabbled, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just come back from that line.
I did my toe in. Didn't like it. Come back.
So yeah,
I clicked on some stuff. Immediately closed that stuff.
So we mentioned hentai in the first 5 minutes of this. So this is
Who's
no longer
we?
this is no longer a family friendly podcast.
Who's
I
Moving
did
forward.
that.
Moving forward.
That's me. Hey, we're marked as explicit. That's all
I gotta
we need to
change
do.
the I gotta change the tag codes for this week's episode.
No. What else
We're
is
gonna
going on, guys?
We're gonna get all the gooners. Can't
Is
wait.
it still
Finally.
super hot where you guys are in the Ohio
Yes.
Valley?
It's been a heavy heat today.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, cool stuff. You know, it's been summer's coming to a close soon. Kids are going back to school soon. It's been a quick summer for me. I don't know about you guys, but
Eh. I mean, I spent most of yesterday in a pool, so it was nice.
all right, whatever.
I don't
It's
realize
always
how.
brag. It's fine.
Well, that is brag. It was nice. It was a good time. And I
That is
realized like
brag.
how much like laying around in a pool can take it out of you though. Like,
Oh,
for real. Like,
sun beats the shit out of you.
It
No matter
does,
what
It's
you're
too.
the
doing.
sun. It's the sun. Yeah.
it was hot and get out and it's just like, oh, I'm so tired.
I'm tired.
I just want to go to bed.
I'm tired, boss.
And you can't because like you go to bed at like 8:30, get up at like 3 a.m. Bullshit.
What is this timeline? This portal I've ran
What is
into?
this?
Yeah,
What
do
is this
this.
witchcraft? Indeed.
Yeah,
Before we
it
move on to the box office, a quick note: if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, hit that like and smash the subscribe button. We appreciate it, boys.
do.
Leave a comment too if you want.
Yeah, do
It's
that.
cool. We
Boys,
talk about things.
let's move into the box office. Once
Tell us
you
how-
listen to the new episode, then come back to this one. Leave a comment about how much you love or hate our lists.
True.
That's one thing.
Or you could leave it on that episode.
You could.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, that's
That
That would
that
make
will
more sense,
also-
actually.
Also
Yeah.
have comments and be
Yeah.
less work for you.
Le-
But make sure you listen to both of these and like both of them.
Jesus
So
God.
We're on a roll
Uh,
today, guys. On a roll. Let's talk about some box office, though, guys. What say you?
okay, so I
about
want
some
to
BO?
kick us off. So me and Grayson had a little mini bet last week about what movie would make what amount of money, and I would like to admit that that I was wrong. Grayson was also wrong, but on a slightly different scale. No, and like I'm not trying to.
Well,
like,
I was right
undermine-
about something.
Well, that's right. You were right about it doing more money. We were both wrong about who was going to win the box office this week, and it's not even fucking close.
Not even.
So, Grayson, give him the box office, buddy.
All right, let's talk about number one, weapons. Happy to say $42.5 million. That's a big number for this kind of movie. And
Solid number.
I'm just
Happy
glad
to
I
see it.
fought for weapons.
You did. I did watch Freakier Friday. I'm going to do 30 seconds on that later, but I did watch
it.
That.
Does still have pretty good reviews, though.
No. I will admit that it definitely reviewed higher than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Good for it.
Yeah, agreed.
So Weapons does a 42.5 domestic for a 70 worldwide. Very
Solid
happy
number,
about
man.
that. Yeah.
Solid number.
That's good for that genre. Holy
solid
crap.
number.
Freakier Friday, 29 million for a 44 million worldwide open. Fantastic Four First Steps has fallen to number 3, 15.5 million for a 434 million. Will that cross the 500 million line? Who knows?
Yeah, probably. It's going to limp across.
The Bad Guys 2, 10.4 million for a worldwide of 83. That picked up quite well. I'm glad that it's getting a little more money. The Naked Gun, 8.4 million for a worldwide of just 56. If you're sleeping on The Naked Gun, go check it out. That movie is hilarious. It really is good.
One that somebody's comedy list.
It made
Well,
it can only make one list. I mean, it can't make more than that. So
if we had 2 lists, it certainly could.
We had 4 lists and it only made one because it disqualified from any other list. Oh my lord! 6 through 10. Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth. Let's check in, see where that is. That is inching on line. That's at 799.9 million. That's still making good money.
How much was it? $7.99.
799,984. So it's like right there. Another after this week, it'll be 800. Number 8, F1 the movie. Let's see what that is. That's it. 570.
Good for F1. F1's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make that 600 though.
It's probably not.
Yeah.
I will say once again, please just give it up so I can watch it at home over and over and over again. Thank you.
Over and over again. Number 9, Together. Number 10, Sketch. No idea what that is. When a young girl's sketchbook falls into a strange pond, her drawings come to life, chaotic, real, and on the loose. As the town descends into chaos, her family must unite and stop the monsters as they never meant to unleash. I read that wrong, but that sounds kind of could be fun.
Is that a horror movie?
It looks not a horror movie. It's got a.
Is it a horror film?
A horror?
Horror.
No.
Horror film.
All right, gentlemen, moving right along. Roger, the time has come. The time has come where you and I can discuss, and Chris chime in.
I have a movie recommendation first.
Well, no.
That should be in front of the movie.
You think so?
Yes.
I do not have a movie recommendation first.
Put your finger down, boy.
Let's talk about
out of order. Out of order.
Sorry.
Point of inquiry.
Happy Gilmore 2.
All right. So
Roger.
first things, do we have to?
For a few minutes, yes.
Okay.
So Roger I think was a little more excited. He was more age appropriate for this movie when it came out, although
the original Happy Gilmore, yes.
For the same age bracket, him and I both kind of fell into the same, like, that's hilarious. We got to watch it a million times with our friends.
Yeah.
Yes, it was holy moly. And I just didn't see this coming. But Roger, what is your first instinct to take away from Happy Gilmore 2?
Happy Gilmore 2 stinks.
And this is talking for one of, like, the super fans of Happy Gilmore. Yes, I would agree. I've watched it a few times now. It's less stinky the more I watch it, but it still is such a major disappointment. And it's one of those disappointments where you do something wrong and your parents are like, not mad, I'm just really disappointed. You're like, oh man, that's worse. I just think this movie doesn't talk to the original in anything except for the absurdity. And the absurdity in the original worked because it was still within universe of what could and couldn't happen with physics and reality and just that kind of nature of things. Everything.
I don't know about all that either. Let's just be honest.
It still had a comedy with a story with a villain that worked. And Shooter McGavin, like him or hate him, he was a good villain for that.
He
kind
is
of
a
film.
good villain. Yes.
He's irritating as shit. He's a character who doesn't understand why the hero is the hero, and that's kind of part of what makes him the villain. And there's a lot of elements in the first one. For instance, Ben Stiller playing the guy taking care of Happy's grandmother. There was an air conditioner that fell out of a window. It crushed someone.
The Misa lady.
Which comes back in this one in a very odd, stupid way. to me, this movie is an abject failure.
I have a
When
question
it's-
that's
go ahead.
going to railroad this for a second.
Good.
Isn't the Ben Stiller character in this just the same guy in Dodgeball?
I mean, yes.
So I will similar,
In a good way.
Similar, no, in a worse way,
Oh, okay.
because like the White Goodman character from Dodgeball is a way better bad guy than this
okay.
character. Because it's like this guy's not even a bad guy; he's just
there.
a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair
This is
enough.
an unnecessary
It
douchebag.
feels like the same guy played in just two different
I mean,
films.
it's almost like the same guy played him.
Whoa.
The one thing I really want to say before we dig in deeper into Happy Gilmore is like I won't say that I didn't laugh at this movie because I did, and I belly laughed a couple times, and it's not because it's overly that funny. It's just the absurd comedy part of it will make you laugh because it's like because it's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But like I had the pleasure or maybe displeasure of group watching this with some of my buddies during my because it's like I realized that some of my friends are bad movie watchers, which is fine. It's fine.
We all know those. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's I've accepted it, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, my opinion is better than anybody else's opinion. If you like this movie, that's fine.
Mhm.
But when after we watch a movie and I'm like, they're like, well, what did you think? And I'm like, it's not very good. They're like, what are you talking about? That's the funniest shit I've ever seen. It's not. Like I will tell you right now, it is not. It's not worth that comedy is not worth your time, or it's not worth my time anymore, is how I feel about that. Seriously. Like slapstick comedy it's hard to pull off in 2025. And it's really hard for me to care about that period at this point in my life.
So you say
I
it's
will
hard,
be a movie snob for a minute.
you
then.
say it's hard for you to enjoy slapstick comedy at this point,
Mhm.
but like it's fair to say that if it was slapstick but good, wouldn't you? I don't think you'd even think that though, right?
Well, so like I can't say no to that. But the only reason is because last week we have a slapstick comedy movie come out in Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Because Naked Gun checks the boxes for that.
It does.
But Naked Gun is 100 times the movie Happy Gilmore is. And it's got really clever writing to go along with that slapstick comedy. And Happy Gilmore doesn't have any of that.
Okay, gotcha.
Like there is no timely joke in Happy Gilmore. There's no brilliant one-liner like there is in Naked Gun. Like it's they're just not there. But I mean, there's absurd funny stuff that happens. But it's like the whole story behind Happy Gilmore is he comes back to rejoin the PGA Tour because
Happy Gilmore 2.
Happy Gilmore 2, sorry. Yeah, he comes back to rejoin the tour. His wife has been dead for years because he killed her with a drive, which is fucking stupid, but whatever. And, he's got a drinking problem, which is, again, I'm not trying to say we need to look at realistic portrayals of drinking problems. We need to look at a movie like Happy Gilmore 2 to shed light on it. But they do throw a lot of dumb, unnecessary stuff about addiction. You know what I mean? Because like he's got an alcohol problem, and they poke fun at it for him, like pulling random things out to drink out of.
Mhm.
After one or two things, it's kind of funny, and after that, it's like, all right, this is stupid. But overall, the whole movie just doesn't really work. They're trying to recruit Happy Gilmore into this other golf league because like he still hits big drives, and like these people have had this weird surgery to remove a hip tendon so they can smash big long drives too.
Jeez.
Which by the way was never fully defined in Happy Gilmore.
No.
It was we never really knew why Happy could do what he could do, although the rage being part of it.
Sure.
That's one thing I have a problem with too, like a major story problem. I don't mean to interrupt you, Roger. It's just,
no, it's fine.
That was one of my big things is like we never knew what really made him drive the way that only that he could do it, and that's what made him a competitor in these in these serious golf events. In these serious golf events, and that's what kind of made it special. But then this one they tried to define it, and then like, oh, that's always been there because of course Nick Swartzen.
Anybody could be that way.
Because we go back in time. Of course, Nick Swartzen is playing the guy in the 50s who realized he could do it first and winning long drive competitions in the kind of the slapstick way. But they use the old timey footage of the black and white. It's tongue in cheek, but that's part of it's. Again, it's like it's a movie. It's a movie made by someone who, like, to me, it's just like, did you even watch the original? Did you? Because you didn't. To make some of these choices creatively, you couldn't have watched it. Now, I mean, I
Well-
say that with because Adam Sandler did write this. Him and Tim
Every
Hurley.
big scene from this movie is a callback to Happy Gilmore 1 in some way. Every one of them. And it's not always for the betterment of the movie itself. I mean, some of the stuff that I thought was funny is like when he's on the green with Shooter and he's like trying to get him out of his funk and he's like, go back to your shanties, because like that's one of my favorite things to tell people is go back to your shanties. God damn you people. I love that. Like that's timeless comedy to me.
And
It's just this movie just doesn't work, man.
the first Happy Gilmore came at a time when slapstick was up and coming. It was working. People laughed. But also what you need for slapstick is inappropriate comedy. That's what makes, and that's what part of the driving force behind Naked Gun with Liam Neeson we just talked about last week. That's what makes some of that comedy so funny, is the inappropriate factor that we don't get a lot of in big releases anymore, simply because the world's just moved in a different direction.
Cowardice. That's why cowardice.
But the Happy Gilmore is a ton of inappropriate comedy that wouldn't. Happy Gilmore's a movie you can't make today. You have to make Happy Gilmore 2, which is the dumbed down version of it, and the charm is gone. It was directed by Dennis Dugan in '96, who, by the way, Tim Hurley and Adam Sandler wrote Happy Gilmore. They wrote Happy Gilmore too. So like I like the symmetry there. And Dennis Dugan directed it, as he ended up doing tons of Adam Sandler comedies. So they got to be friends.
Yeah,
in
they
real
were
life.
boys. Yeah,
they have to be. And of course, a legendary cast as far as Happy Gilmore's concerned: Christopher McDonald, Julie Bowen, Frances Bay as the grandmother. It's Bob Barker, Robert Smigel. And then Richard Keel, the big guy who ends up being friends with Happy. It's all these elements that just they work in a pot.
Mr. Larson.
Yes, that all these. They work in a pot that made Happy Gilmore funny. It was part of the Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. Never get one without the other. You can never mention one without saying something about the other two. And it worked, and it's a movie that after I was wildly excited when I heard a comedy was coming, and then Roger and I talked and like, well, it's coming from Netflix, and Roger and I probably like. Now it's like, are they going to get it right or are they not?
No.
It's a flip of a coin. It really is a flip of a coin. And
The
so
answer is just no, they're not.
fast forward to Happy Gilmore 2, and of course I'm leaving out some details of the film. Look, everyone's seen Happy Gilmore, and one of the deaths early on is his father, and he talks about it, how it influenced him to become this weirdly displaced hockey player that found golf. Fine, I get that.
Sure.
So with Happy Gilmore 2, part of the driving factor to killing the Julie Bowen character is Virginia Venet, that's her name, the VV, is you need a heartfelt death early on. But why this one? Why the girl that literally made the first movie work was that weird slapstick love triangle that worked in Happy Gilmore that doesn't. Did they figure? Oh, Julie Bowen's too funny with Modern Family. Oh, she's too good. We can't use her. She's too funny. Whatever going on behind the scenes that made her want to be written off, or the creatives were like, we need to have a impactful death early to match his father. Like, how did they land on this? That was my 2 minutes into this movie, I had a major red flag, and that's not good coming from one of the guys who's seen it 10,000 times, the original film. This is the first time I've been disappointed in Adam Sandler, and I know that he's well, I'm serious. I like. Why do you laugh at me like that? Why are you laughing?
Because I can just think of like 6 other movies that are as bad or worse than this.
When you take a movie like That's My Boy, which is awful, atrocious,
Awful
it's still got the Adam Sandler kind of charm to it.
No,
like
it
his
doesn't.
character. Well, I mean,
Movie stinks.
Well, I think that movie's pretty funny. If you remove quality from it, it's a fun watch.
What's the Western movie he did? Ridiculous Six.
Yeah, well, that movie's again Netflix, awful, but
fucking awful.
When I'm going to sleep,
awful.
When I want to go to sleep, I turn it on because I'm out.
No,
5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'm out. This is honestly the first time I've been disappointed in Adam Sandler, only because this is his Happy Gilmore and Bill Madison made him.
Sure.
This is not reflective of. He's not the humble guy that was made big by one of 2 movies and SNL, but like these movies really catapulted him to hilarious status with a ton of people. And it seemed like the same reverence wasn't given to Happy Gilmore 2, given that he is the producer, he is a writer. Same with Tim Hurley, who was also a writer. to me, this movie doesn't make sense. To me, everything is forced. Like Roger said, the thing with the drinking problem, and like everything he's holding is a flask, which to me is funny. It wears down.
So it's not funny. Yeah,
it wears down
once
pretty quick.
Once or twice, sure, but
but so I think that's a symptom of like a movie not being good, so you're not willing to buy into the joke. Right?
Sure, okay,
because, because like we just talked about the Naked Gun, the coffee stick, they pound that into you ad nauseum, but it's funny the whole way through, right?
Well, because they change it up a little bit. They do things with it.
Well, I mean, I would argue they're from the way it sounds it from you guys, like they're trying to like do things with it all the way through, where everything he has is a flask. That's kind of funny. Like Grayson said, like that's a funny antic, but like the movie isn't delivering on its other comedic promises, which makes the other thing that could either go in the direction of being a repeat thing that you're laughing along with because you're laughing with the whole movie the whole time, to something that gets wore down and it feels like the same old joke after two.
No, it's like
times.
the goats in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
exactly. It is.
Once it's like, oh, okay, that's okay. Second time it's like, oh, we're still doing that. And the third time it's like, what the fuck?
How many times? And then by the end of the movie, you have 6 or 7 renditions of a goat scream. Yeah.
A couple of things that I wanted to highlight here and then just talk about it for a few minutes is, so they have a family. They have 4 boys and a girl, and of course the girl is played by his daughter, and then his older daughter played by someone in Alcoholics. How likes Alkies, or what's the anagram? He's in like a weird AA group because he needs to be, and his oldest daughter is playing one of the characters. Comes a cheeky when she looks at him during one of the sequences, goes, "You remind me of my father." Tongue in cheek. I get it. And of course, Ben Stiller reprises his role as Hal, who's not in the nursing home anymore. He's running this program for AA. It's like a forced thing. I'm sure Ben Stiller was like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll do it. One of the things that kills me is his kids. I understand the knee-jerk first reaction to make them all meathead idiots, but then make the daughter the one. She's the one that gets it. She's the smart one. She's the one that separates from all the other boys, and like that's how the movie plays out. But it's and I appreciate kind of the symmetry there of Happy in the opening thing. You see him, all the jobs he's had, he's always putting something between his leg and acting like a big weeder, which is it's always funny. And like his kids at all their various jobs, we see them doing the same thing, like air traffic controller.
I did laugh at that.
It's funny because that's a good.
That was funny.
That's a good call, but one of the few good callbacks here is why are all his kids the same person and just kind of divided out into 4 people? Why not give them a little bit of personality?
Because they don't matter to the story.
Then why put them in there? Why are they in there then? Just him and his daughter going in after he killed the mother. Like, why?
When you ask that question, you don't go far enough down the list of why does Happy Gilmore 2 exist?
Well, sure.
Like, that's really what it comes back to.
It's such a disappointment to me. I will say but the one thing I'm actually kind of, it was mature of Netflix to do was they bring Shooter back, but he's not a villain. I don't want to spoil it, but I thought that was, given the other decisions, the other brain dead bonehead decisions that Sandler and Hurley made, is I'm surprised they were able to see that coming and then kind of go the other way with it, which I think is a good idea.
Get the Shooter McGavin redemption arc, which actually
it's not really a redemption arc, but they're working together, and like that was the whole crux of the first film was
Shooter. And like he does kind of lose his shit and is just pointing at the camera like Shooter. I felt good about that. Felt good about that in my heart. Yeah, like rage.
And of course, Chubbs Peterson has a really, really overweight son named Slim because Chubbs wasn't chubby, and then they had to go with the thing. And his overweight son is called Slim Peter. Like funny, and it's a nice callback. And you had to represent the Chubbs character somehow if you're going to do the mirror. It's just there are so many things here I wish they'd have done differently. And the whole Maxi Golf thing where. Although one of the funniest things I thought now thinking of Maxi Golf is it was Safdie who played the villain of trying to induct Benny Safdie trying to induct Happy Gilmore into Maxi Golf and destroy regular golf, which you can't just destroy a sport. But it's the whole thing with that is I thought that was kind of funny with his breath because everyone that was on camera with him was like, ugh, like that was the running joke of that, and it was kind of always funny because that's always that kind of thing to me is always funny, but it's. Again, you have very few actual laughs here. That aren't guttural reaction laughs from how absurd it is. you have very few genuine laughs here, and that's something the first Happy Gilmore got was a bunch of genuinely funny comedy. Now maybe it's because in '96 slapstick was acceptable and it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And Happy Gilmore is
Well,
kind of
not
one of those.
everywhere, but more prevalent.
Well,
Sure.
Happy Gilmore is one of those movies that kind of helped usher it to the forefront, but it just doesn't work in 2025 without the inappropriate nature behind it. And Netflix is never willing to do the inappropriate. That's one thing Netflix just won't do, and that's fine. But you can't portray slapstick as slapstick in '96 if you take out the most important element to that. If you ask me, anyway. Maybe I'm all wrong about that, but
So, Chris, are we selling you on watching Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
No. I'm unique in this group because I don't like the original Happy Gilmore. I think it's the lowest form of comedy that exists in moviedom. I don't think it or Billy Madison is worth talking about for more than 3 seconds to say that they're bad films. I think that it's just the most abhorrent shit to watch that can grace your screens.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel? Jeez.
Somehow this is worse, and I don't understand how they've achieved that. I don't think I'm going to watch this. I don't plan to watch it. You guys gave me a heads up that we're going to talk about this. I still didn't watch it. And it's just because it goes back to movies being worth my time and not wasting my time. And it
I
feels
wasted
like
time with this movie.
I'll take Adam Sandler and one of his movies seriously when he doesn't cast a family member in it, because
all of his family is in this movie. His whole family is in this movie.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, good for him and him taking care of his own and building his little movie empire.
He does get his people paid.
Yeah, and like and like good for him on those fronts. But like, I can't take the movie seriously because you know what? Chances say that his whole family isn't an acting powerhouse family. There might be one or two good actors within his family, between all of them, but like not all of them. So if you're not willing to take your own movie serious enough to do proper casting, to get proper people to come in that might be good at this kind of physical slapstick comedy, why would I take your movie seriously?
It's good.
If you're not.
That's a good
fair.
question. That's a fair question to ask.
A little harsh in the beginning, but I respect your opinion.
All in all, in the end, I'm just one asshole on the internet. But
Steve Buscemi is in this, which he wasn't. I mean, I was surprised to see him in this, but all he does is run away and pee in a mailbox. I mean, and then he has drinks with John Daly.
So that's what he's doing anyway, right? So why not?
Who amongst us hasn't urinated in a mailbox?
Yeah, we've all been there.
No hands go up on this podcast, that's for sure. Yeah, but I mean, Steve Buscemi's his boy. It's like, so is Nick Swardson. He got him in there. A lot of the Sandler faithful are there. I gotta respect that at least. I gotta.
They'll even put Rob Schneider back in this movie
as the cowboy riding the bike is like.
Yeah.
But like that's, and then like the happy place is you miss the essence of Happy Gilmore. They missed it completely. If you ask me, they just completely shot right by it and didn't even address it. And that to me is the greater crime here. If you're gonna make a sequel, then make a fucking sequel. Sorry, I've dropped a lot of F-bombs. I'm sorry. That's
or just not make a sequel.
Well, if you're not gonna, like Chris said, if you're not gonna put the effort behind it and treat it as you should, as one of the legendary comedies from the '90s, then just don't make it, because it's lucky this is on Netflix, because I think word of mouth would bury this thing. Had it come out theatrically, I think it would have been buried. I think people would have been like,
I didn't even ever look. Did we ever look at the like Rotten Tomatoes or anything for this? Like, I don't think I did.
I did last week. Hold on.
I don't think I need to, though.
No, but now here's the thing, though. Now I want to.
Yeah, no, I understand. Comedy's not an easy sell. You know what I mean? And you guys have already talked about it a good bit. Where
wow, it's way higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. That's the problem. That
is the problem. Therein lies it.
63 and 66 was because people that laugh, and because they laugh, they think it must be good, and that's part of the problem. There is
if people feel good about it, then they feel good about it. What's the Metacritic sitting at? 29.
52.
It's double the. It's double the score of Ghost Ship. Impossible.
I mean, I'd watch Ghost Ship again before I watch Happy Gilmore.
It is possible, though. So,
to wind this up, I know I've been talking long on the tooth. I'm disappointed that they didn't. It's not a better product in the Happy Gilmore verse, whatever that is. I expected to love it, and I was so disappointed. I keep saying disappointed. I expected more, and I don't, like, you guys kept telling me, like, why did you expect more out of this?
Yep.
I just did. I feel bad for you, Roger, because this is one of your legendary movies, man.
The last thing I'll say about it is I'm not disappointed. I expected this, like verbatim, expected it to be this bad. Now, was I still a little bit shocked that it checked every bad box you could have? Yeah, sure. But like, I don't like it. It's not very good. Like, that's it. I don't have to try to justify it. Just watch this movie. It's not very good. Like that's it. But Netflix will tell you it's some fucking massive success. So good for them. I don't know. Fuck them.
So many F-bombs in this episode. I'm sorry. All right, moving right along.
The algorithm will just be upset.
That's
with us.
only like my second one this episode. Thank
Please, if you feel differently and please comment in the video. Tell us why you thought Happy Gilmore 2 was good to decent to represent Happy Gilmore. I'd love to hear your thoughts because I am baffled as to how this is getting much better reviews than most theatrical things we watch. I'm just I can't understand it. It's beyond me. But all right, Chris. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something?
No. I was gonna say I'll be interested to see how many like Rotten Tomatoes user reviews it has compared to like some other things that are out theatrically comedy wise, and see how many more people are actually watching. I know there's more access because it's just on Netflix, but I'd be willing to see the numbers on like what it seems like viewership is
I would love for them to put out an actual like minutes viewed list for this guy because I mean like they seem to tout that up when they want to,
and then
you know
don't when
what I
they
mean?
don't.
Yeah. So here's the thing: they don't ever have to do anything.
True.
But sometimes they'll be like, well, it had 18 million minutes viewed in the first 24 hours. And I'm like, shit, I don't know what that means. So
yeah, you give us a little information. We don't have any good comparables.
Well, yeah, and then you don't talk about anything for a year, and then suddenly this has. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
whatever.
I can understand the strong viewing in the upfront in the first weekend, but it's. I mean, when you put it up against something like The Naked Gun, it's a stark comparison of how bad it really is, of how little it understood because The Naked Gun understood the original and understood how to bring that comedy forward and make it funny again.
Yeah,
Happy Gilmore 2 doesn't do that, and that's I think the damn shame here. But all right, Chris, let's switch gears a little bit. We're talking about weapons this week. I understand you have a very similar movie to recommend as it is your week.
I have a movie recommendation.
Similar vein.
That is within the same wheelhouse, I believe Weapons lives. I have the movie that I am choosing for my recommendation and submitting to the bracket gods is Longlegs, which came out a couple years ago. Grayson, if you have the particulars, that would be very helpful right now.
Last year, actually, 2024, directed by Osgood Perkins, written by Osgood Perkins, with a small but very good cast. Is Micah Monroe. I know you're quite fond of her, a lot of her films, Chris. Nick Cage, Alicia Witt, Dakota Dalby, and Blair Underwood. Why, Chris? Why are you recommending this one?
So I'm recommending this because after viewing Weapons, I do feel like it has that same kind of like. There are certain kinds of subgenres within the horror genre itself, and creepy thriller I think is creepy suspense thriller is where Longlegs lands, and I think Weapons kind of has that same vibe at least at some points in it. And Longlegs had a very good marketing campaign. It came out and was very successful for what its budget was against its box office. Had some very, what in my opinion, great acting in it, good writing, and just an overall just mystical element to it that mixed with some horror that really did drive it home. Movie is unsettling, and in the ways that you want a movie like that in that genre to be unsettling, and makes it feel like that, like movies like Longlegs, like Smile and such are all kind of coming through in that in a very specific spot right now in movie theaters where it's like these movies seem to be trying hard and doing a good job of it. And I think Longlegs is a good example of that, along with what we're going to talk about today in Weapons.
Another movie we watched that is not quite similar to Longlegs, but not too far off, is when we did Heretic.
Oh yeah,
because Heretic was a good.
I did go back and watch that.
Good movie. I really kind of dug that one. Longlegs, critically very well put together, good movie, start to finish. I dug Longlegs, and I think I've on a previous version of some other show that remain unnamed. I've always talked about like I'm not a big scary movie guy.
Yep.
I do like these movies though that are like make you think a little bit more cerebral.
Yeah, there you go.
If there's more suspense than overall scariness, like I'm down for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like Longlegs has got a bunch of that.
Oh yeah.
And so does Weapons. Like Weapons
Yeah.
performs really well, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But
I like
nice choice for Longlegs.
Thanks, man. I like it when a movie like this and like Longlegs and Weapons. I like it when these kind of movies make me wince. Like when you got things playing on the screen and you've done a good job of just of
God,
giving,
did I wince in Weapons?
giving us the perception of something that we don't like, whether it happens or not. I love it when a movie can pull that off because that means you're affecting me now in the theater and in my viewing experience, which I don't like. I'm not going to forget that. I think that's kind of like the successful version of like having that like that creepy, unsettling vibe.
Well, I was in Weapons. I was the loud guy in the theater for a minute.
Oh yeah,
because I was the one where somebody gets stabbed in the face, and I went, "Oh shit!" And I think you guys remember the part that I'm talking about, where somebody opens a tent.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, "Oh shit!"
Tent or kitchen? Like that was my question.
Yeesh.
Cool.
But yeah. All right.
But,
I'm sorry.
By the way, just want to look it up.
Yeah.
Longlegs. I can't find an actual budget though. People swear it's $3 million, and if it's not 3, it's below 10. That's what people are saying. So and it Box Office Mojo has it worldwide at 127.
That's that 10x'd it then, right? You know what I mean? That's at least
massive win.
Yeah, and like so what's kind of cool is that I mentioned Smile. I think its opening weekend domestic was like 22 or 25 million. Same with Longlegs. Like its opening week US was 25 or something like that. Weapons is near 50 million for opening weekend, which for domestic, which is crazy high comparatively to those two movies. I'm not saying that this one's better than those two for that. It's just interesting that this movie had so much viewing when I think I'm surprised that Longlegs with Nicolas Cage as the villain and in a very unsettling kind of way,
very not cool
at all. And the marketing that Smile tried to pull off. I'm surprised that this movie is the one that has the strongest domestic showing for opening week. We'll see how they turn out, but I think that's very interesting because none of those movies are considered failures in any regard at this point. So
no, of course not.
Interesting stuff. Go watch Longlegs; it's really good.
Longlegs is pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
Longlegs did. I know you mentioned it, but Longlegs did have an interesting marketing campaign. So. Yeah. Weapons is a lot more mainstream marketing because it
feels like
well, I think the one thing with Weapons, and we can lead right into Weapons after this, if that's all right.
Yeah.
The one thing that with Weapons that I realized is Weapons has kind of been like on our periphery for a while. Because we always were going to have a decision on what movie to watch this week, where it was almost Freakier Friday, and Grayson's going to talk about that for just a minute, just because he watched it, I believe, right? You did see it, right?
Very enthusiastically. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so Grayson watched it, but like Weapons got its first Rotten Tomatoes score like 6 weeks ago, and it was at 100. And when you get one and it's at 100, nobody really gives a shit. But then we got up to like 7 or 8 days out for release, and the embargo was lifted, and it was still at 100. And I'm just like, whoa, what's fucking going on here? And then I think it's dipped all the way to 95.
I haven't looked at any of that,
but yeah, it's impressively like very well reviewed critically. And here's the thing though, like I get it.
Yeah.
Like damn, Weapons is fucking like we've had some good horror suspense kind of stuff like this and Sinners in the same
Sinners,
quadrant of the year basically. Man, like this is awesome. Fucking awesome, man.
Sinners was S level, man.
Sinners a banger. Weapons is a banger. Yeah. Like, Weapons gets wild, man.
Weapons takes you on a very, very different kind of roller coaster ride, in my opinion.
Well, all right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Lead us in the Weapons, and I'll get going because I have something I want to lead with once you're done, if that's all right.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing Freaky Friday, but
go ahead. Talk about Freaky Friday.
Talk about Freaky Friday. Also a horrific concept. So yeah, go
ahead. Freaky Friday. I meant to put this early in the show, but here, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Freaky Friday. I did only because I to me it's because I saw it in 2003 when it was a remake from the Jodie Foster version. This was Jamie Lee Curtis and what's her name?
Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan. They switched places. They better understand each other. Blah blah blah. There's some charm to that one. I rewatched that one too. They're a mother and daughter that absolutely just don't get each other. Actually, the daughter's the one being very rebellious. They go to a Chinese restaurant. They break a special fortune cookie. The mother of the waitress who gives it to them scolds the daughter for doing it. Trying to prove a point. Mother-daughter thing. It's great. And then they kind of understand each other. It ends at a rock show with kind of better understanding of each other. Freakier Friday picks up several years later. Lindsay Lohan's character now has a child of her own who also doesn't understand her mother, and then Jamie Lee Curtis still. So it's all in the mix. And there's a girl at school giving the daughter kind of a hard time, though they don't know it. They're going to be best buds here soon. But then they end up going because Lindsay Lohan character is marrying the other girl's father. So then they become this weird kind of blended family. They are Asian from the UK. So then it's like a weird, nothing about this is like a normal family, but that's okay because that's how some families exist.
This is racially insensitive, got you.
Fair enough. And so it takes it a little further.
Bold choice, Disney.
And so it takes a little further. Like Happy Gilmore 2, they bring everything is brought back. Every single character is brought back. Mark Harmon, still a handsome devil, brought back. The younger brother, who never really did much after that, brought back to do a few lines. Her friends from the original came back to be part of the band Pink Slip. It's all there. Where the odd Chad Michael Murray comes back with some awesome blonde hair, I will say. Handsome son of a gun. Handsome guy. Still plays the same role.
He is handsome.
He kind of because they switch roles, he had a thing for Tess, the mother, Jamie Lee Curtis, in the original because Lindsay Lohan was in her, and it's weird wacky comedy triangle.
Like this.
Well, fine, but
I don't like this.
So in this one, the mother and daughter switch again. Lindsay Lohan switched with Jamie Lee Curtis again, and then the two girls switch as well. Or no, that's not how it works. I just watched this. Well, there's 4 that switch bodies, so it's kind of hard to keep track of. But it ends up in the 2 younger girls. The younger girl has the Lindsay Lohan is in. You know what? I don't remember. This is awful. I don't.
Oh my goodness! Didn't you just watch this?
I did 2 days ago, but Jamie Lee Curtis ends up in the other girl, and vice versa. Who that's the biggest kind of disconnect, and then the mother and daughter switch again. To again better understand each other once again. And it's like they each have their own little thing off the side, and it gets wild and zany, and it's just Freakier Friday 1.5. Just
a movie that's probably solved with like family therapy and just a couple of open communication discussions. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that's what these always are.
One sit-down therapy session could have solved all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I'm gonna be super honest for like,
or half a bottle of scotch and somebody lights a cigarette in the living room.
Yep.
just like most films can be solved with
talk this shit out now.
Just like most films can be solved with a cell phone conversation or a conversation between 2 characters is not scripted.
Yeah. Don't text me, just actually see me in person.
Yeah.
Could have been an email,
it's not passive aggressive.
But it speaks the original and it works for someone like me who's really kind of a big fan of it. It works, and it ends again in a rock show, and again mother-daughter understand each other better, and then the new daughter and the grandma they have no relation and they hate each other in the beginning, but now understand each other a little better, and then they save the marriage between Lindsay Lohan and the girl's dad, and it works on a level of Freaky Friday. It's fun. Great. It works. I was happy with it. Rotten Tomatoes, for anyone who's interested, is 73 and 93. I'm part of the problem for the 93 because I
love it. It's so good.
And then Metacritic,
that's my Grayson impression.
Thank you. Very accurate, Roger. Very accurate. And the Metacritic's sitting at a 61. Last thing I'll say is, if you like the original Freaky Friday or the remake in 2003, there's no reason you wouldn't like this. This is an extension of 2003 version. Lindsay Lohan is on her game. She does a very good job. Jamie Lee Curtis kills it. There's a sequence I thought was laugh out loud hilarious because the youngest girl is in Jamie Lee Curtis's body, and she can't stand up because she says everything keeps popping. And she says, my mind keeps shouting into the void for my body to get up, but my body's not responding, which I thought was hilarious because you're a whole generational thing. But it's fun if you like. I
don't get it.
If you like the
Okay.
if you like Freaky Friday, there's no reason you wouldn't like Freakier Friday. So
My wife and my oldest daughter have watched the original remake of Freaky Friday, and they both have a good time with it. So
What if I don't care for the Freaky Friday series?
see, I don't either.
Did you like Freaky with Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton?
Yes, because that movie's actually pretty good.
That movie's funny too.
Which I thought was an interesting twist on a very interesting twist. Yeah, which Vince Vaughn killed it as
Yeah,
play.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
Very
let's
cool.
talk about weapons.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
Weapons. So something we neglected last week, and I'm sorry about that with Naked Gun. Although the Rotten Tomatoes and the Metacritic sky high. Have you guys seen the numbers?
Last week was sky high.
So,
Wait till we talk about this one.
This week, tomato meter 95%, popcorn meter 87, down a little bit. With
Everybody to think they didn't like it.
The Metacritic being at 81.
That's a high number.
Now keep in mind, I think
That's
anything
high.
70 or over is a must watch. This is
Yeah.
11 points higher.
81 is like everything everywhere all at once territory, just to bring some context into view on
Yeah,
that.
it's close to S tier for films. Is you got to watch it, and I can understand, like Roger, weapons may not be everyone's cup of tea. However, it's not that kind of. It's not like a slasher. It's one you really kind of have to think about. Chris mentioned Longlegs. Longlegs is a good example of what, if you like Longlegs, there's no reason you wouldn't like Weapons.
Sure.
Kind of the same cerebral stuff, the same the same tones. It's like it really makes you think about what you're watching.
That being said, there's some gore in this at a few points. So this you will not leave unscathed if you are squeamish at those kinds of things.
It's unsettling. Unsettling.
It's a couple of things. Grayson, before you get into particulars, I think we should thumbs up or thumbs down this. So I'm going to count us in. So boys, what do we think about Weapons? 3, 2, 1. There's going to be no surprises here, right?
Well, mine was almost a surprise. Mine was almost a thumbs down because, and I'll get to that, for as good as this movie is, I think it's a problem when you have an incredibly strong opener. 17 kids are missing. No one knows. One person's to blame, or they think is a witch. Interesting opening, right? Then seeing it from the same angle 5 different ways, to me, that right off, when digging into my dumb brain, it makes me think of when I was assigned like a 10-page paper in middle school. Well, 4 of those pages are going to be fluff. 4 of those pages are additional sentences or additional paragraphs that you've already said it, but you got to get the word count in. Got to get
a lot of 10 pagers in middle school.
I'd feel
that's interesting. I'm surprised you think that. And I completely disagree with you. I think that the storytelling that vessel that this movie takes is actually one of the things that makes it such a good watch.
I would agree. When I walked out, I thought that's what I thought originally was hogwash.
Okay. I got you.
I think is a pretty damn good movie.
Just on that note, for anyone that kind of thinks the realm of where Grayson started at, I'll boldly say you're wrong. And the reason why is because we demand that movies do different things and innovate and do things that are outside of the box. You can't be mad when they go outside of the box. That sounds kind of crazy. Now, it doesn't fit everyone's.
You don't have to like it though.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, this is what this was a different kind of way to do this storytelling.
Sure.
And they're not the first movie to do something like this, but they're very effective in their method of doing this because they give you just enough on the periphery of a couple of these characters on the first go around that, like, when you get to see these characters, they give you tidbits of something else shitty or crazy that's happening, and then all of a sudden you're in the driver's seat with that person again. You're like, okay, well, how do they get there?
Yeah.
And it's like it's fed to you in these like miniature movie bits, almost like short films, which are effective because they don't need to hold your attention very long, but they can tell some cool, very quick, very fast escalating stories. And that's what happens here when you get behind each of these story vessels in the people that we're following. And I think it was very effective in that sense. I liked it a lot.
See, I asked the question then, if we would have just kept going with the teacher and never even saw anyone else's point of view, except for when they came and went from the story as revolved around her, Did we lose any information that wasn't pertinent to the story being told?
You would got a completely different movie.
That, but
Sure, of course.
I don't think you could dive as deep as they did into the isolated stories, right? So like
Each character story.
yeah, like if you're going through the movie with just the teacher, is her story and her character riveting, compelling, interesting enough to pull us through the entire drama of what's unfolding in an interesting way all the way through, whereas we get to and like kind of see, imagine her principal boss, right, where he comes out of nowhere at one point, and this is in the trailer so I'm not spoiling anything, where like dude's a little messed up at one point and does some messed up shit.
Yep.
And imagine if that's all you got, and you don't get the scenes,
you don't get his story,
and you don't get the scenes that lead up to that.
Yeah.
Which then we don't get that. We don't get that very unsettling interaction with him and another character. So it's like there are some things here at play that I think if we do the traditional following the teacher route, like you're saying, Grayson, we might miss some stuff with each of these other like kind of side character stories that we get to dig into a little bit. Which I think this movie's better because of this storytelling than it would have been otherwise.
Well, I mean, it's tough to know because we'll never see the other script. Sure. However, one thing I do want to do now is go over some particulars.
Yeah, probably.
Writer-director Zach Cregger, which he's got an impressive resume by himself.
Last one he did was Barbarian, right?
Which was also very well received. It was, if you don't remember what Barbarian was, I forget who played the girl, but someone went into an Airbnb, and who plays Pennywise? Who is that?
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård is the other. It's a double booked, and they learn that something comes up from the basement at night, and there's a massive labyrinth below. It's terrifying, but that's another one that, I mean, come on, that's a terrifying scenario, man. Terrifying scenario. Yeah. Anyway, check that out if you haven't. You will be also very unsettling. But back to weapons. Julia Garner, Josh Brolin are two of the leads here.
Archer Graff himself.
Aiden Einrich, which, young Han Solo. You got to say that for him, young Han Solo. Are some of the namers here with Justin Abrams, Ali Barch, Benedict Wong, which I always like seeing him outside of Marvel. I always like seeing people in Marvel outside of it, see what else they can do. But it's nice to see him. But it's a very effective opening. 17 kids missing out of one teacher's classroom. One kid is still there. No one quite knows what's going on. Although it has the problem, it has the Achilles heel that a lot of like films before the 90s had of like, well, no one saw anything here. Like what are we talking about? Like no one in these neighborhoods came home from a shift late. No one was up on their porch smoking a cigarette.
I did think about that too. Like there's nobody but like, yeah, we saw this kid running down the street,
Yeah, so like
they catch him on like Ring cameras though.
I put myself in the situation, and like I'm a night owl. I'm up between 2 and 3 every night. So like if my daughter was one of these afflicted, like what happens like from that perspective? Like I'm awake. I'm gonna hear something.
Naruto run right by you.
True. I mean, yeah, but it's like it is interesting to think about that. But at the same time, there's a mystical element that is absolutely like stated in this movie.
Sure.
And not very far into it either. So like you could say that it all kind of has that kind of some mysticism happening that allows for all of it to take place in that way. So there are a couple of things you can kind of chalk up to you having to suspend your disbelief to let the movie happen. But I do know like there's validity in that bring up. I think they do a good job of covering it by allowing them to be caught by the ring cams.
Sure.
Because if this movie happens and there's no ring cam footage, I believe it way less.
Yeah, not
right?
one.
Yeah, not one out of all these houses that they come out of and they run by. Not one single like security system picks this up. The fact that they have it in there and a part of it actually kind of makes me land in the more believable territory than if it wasn't there at all. Which I appreciate.
I literally just watched this documentary on Netflix about one of the mass killers of the 90s. Or no, sorry, that was another one. One of the mass killers a few years ago, and they literally tracked this guy through cameras from I think New York to like South Dakota through like random traffic. Like you're telling me we can track a guy's journey through traffic cams, but we can't catch these kids in a neighborhood. But like that's the whole thing of like kind of a suspension. I also want to give a shout out to Amy Madigan, who plays Gladys. She's in a lot of movies I love. Gone Baby Gone, Field of Dreams, massive. And then June Daphne Raphael plays another girl, another Donna, another another kind of very important. They kind of just glass over the role, but very important.
Mhm.
But it's the question you asked, Chris, if the storytelling would be different. I thought was really kind of, to me, it was really picking up when, after you get past the point where you're like, oh, are all the police just idiots? Like, are they morons? Do they not know how to cross-reference ring footage and find out like why the kids are running that way? And you're telling me none of the parents talk to each other about their footage in the ring cam? Like, come on, you're asking me to really kind of forgo a lot. But when Brolin gets the map and starts like map, I was like, okay, yes, now we have a movie, and then we cut back. It's like, oh my lord, what are you doing? I guess the question, Chris, is the answer to your question is, I was thinking this is something that's in my mind every time I watch one of these films. Is another influential film, The Ring, is, I think, one of the best movies in the genre, in the horror genre. Of, they've got a problem, and they go on this journey to figure it out, and it's well written. The wonderful, the set deck is always good, and the foreboding. It's that movie to me is like one of the best in the genre ever, of the horror genre, and I kind of wish this movie was more like that. Of, you get two of the parents, with Brolin, and then you get the teacher, who, the first person who doesn't want to kill her when they find her, and like now they have to figure it out. It's like, where do these kids go? Why did they go? What lured them out of their home? Like, to me, that's the more fascinating story than the one we got. Although I will go back a little. What I said is, the story we got is expertly told. The production value is excellent. The direction, I think, is great. The camera work, holy mama, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Especially when we're getting like an entire 10-minute segment all from a point of view of a character. Like, the camera work is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. But I've been talking, so you guys can.
Well, no, I'm gonna fire a question right back at you. You said you would like it if it was a different way. Well, I mean, I try not to ever look at movies that way, because that's not the movie we get. So I will never try to judge a movie based off the movie that I thought would be better. Do you understand what I mean? Like,
Oh,
I
I
don't want to change
do.
things around.
Yeah,
I
but
do, but that's why I'm so mad. Is I don't think we got a full movie.
there's okay. I think it's okay to look at it like, I know, I think I know where you're going with this, but like, I'll just use that example. Like it's okay with seeing an ending and not being happy with the ending, right?
Sure.
And thinking that there's probably a better version of this movie out there. Now, to take the movie and judge it against what would have been a better movie, I could be unfair, but at that point, it's very hard to split that hair, I think. But like, I do agree with where Grayson's kind of going, in if it's down the line of like, I almost talked myself, I did talk myself out of liking this movie for a good couple of hours, until I rethought about it again, and like just worked through like the way I thought about it. And I didn't like this movie for a little bit, because I did not like the way, I didn't like the ending. The ending didn't satisfy all the scratches that I needed itched, right? It didn't live up to the first two acts. The end of the third act does not live up to the rest of this movie, in my opinion. And to me, at initial onset, it killed my outlook on it. But then I really stewed in it for a little bit, and I decided, no, I would have preferred something different. What they gave me was actually still good. Here's why, kind of like discussion I had with myself. And like, I do end up coming out heavily in favor of this movie at that point. I just think it's very hard. I think the hardest part about a mystery movie, mystery horror, mystery whatever have you, the hardest part is the delivery. And if a movie's going to fumble on that part of it, I can see how it happens, because that has got to be the hardest thing to pay off, because your entire audience has their own perception of what they're going through with you at the same time. And when this movie doesn't cheaply do a reveal where they do a gotcha, or they try to pretend like they're smarter than you, and like something you could have never figured out. When a movie does that to you, it's cheap. But when a movie tries to literally take you on a ride and not try to be smarter than you, but let you discover along with the characters involved, it's hard to deliver on that, because everyone watching your movie has their own idea of what's happening.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't want to fault it for that. Do I think it was almost chuckle worthy, a few of the final scenes with a specific character? Yeah, a little bit, and it felt very much out of place. But then I thought about like the nature of children, and how that play could be seen. There's a lot happening.
Sure.
And I end up back in a good place. But I could see where that 87 on Rotten Tomatoes viewer score comes from, because I could see people going, good movie, but the ending was weird. And it's like, it's really hard to avoid that when you're trying to make something like a movie like this.
Well, I don't want to be spoilery because I think,
I'm trying not to be as well. Yeah.
I do agree with you, Chris. I think the ending kind of betrays what the first two acts build as far as suspense, which again is not an easy thing to do, is build suspense like that. But I also was very satisfied because I hated this character so fucking much.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard, but like that's the whole design behind the character.
They made a very, very good monster in this movie. And like to the point to where once we get to the third act, like there we have an actual monster we're dealing with.
Yep.
There's a scene where someone's in a basement walking through pillars of certain things, and the monster ends up being down there, and it's very effective.
Yep.
This movie doesn't lean on
I
jump
didn't
scare.
like that.
Yeah, right?
Well, that's very barbarian. That happens in, that's very like that too.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. Good, good on them. But like this movie doesn't lean on jump scares. There are some in here, and they're good jump scares.
Effective, yeah.
Yeah, I think the most unsettling point that I had in the movie, just to kind of jump to that real quick because I don't want to miss it. I'm thinking about it. Is when someone's camped out of a house and someone comes out of a house with a pair of scissors and the door opens and closes. Oh, I didn't like that. I was ready for that to be a dream and for our character to wake up. They don't. No. That was just really.
We did get a creepy dream sequence, though. Dream inside of a dream, some dreamception.
Twice.
Yep, twice.
Yeah. I did not that scene. Everything. I don't like things when they don't move right. Mm-hmm. Like the Naruto run is one thing, but when it doesn't move right because it can't anymore, oh God, no! I did not like that at all.
Well, I didn't breathe for like a whole 45 seconds because you don't know what's coming. You're like, okay, she better wake up. She better wake up. She better wake up. And then like,
there's a lot happening there.
She better stay asleep. She better stay asleep.
All of a sudden, you're in a different camp.
When that scene plays out the way that it does, is there was a collective in my because like my auditorium was full. I saw it Saturday morning at 9 a.m. in IMAX.
Yeah,
9 a.m. baby.
Jeez, that's a good way to start your day. There's a guy in the top left corner of my theater, and he gave a woo afterwards. So yeah,
that's one thing. That's one thing that movies have a hard time doing like this is building suspense. That's one thing that like Longlegs did right, Smile does right, and this one, for example, since you've mentioned them before, is it builds suspense. I think in a very good way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing that I want to bring up is the way that this movie is built a little bit different because it does go through the point of view of 5 different people.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is not something you see very often. And Grayson mentioned earlier, maybe I would have rather seen it through one. I don't think you get nearly as effective of a film if we do it that way, because with this movie does one thing that I love about a good horror movie or a good suspense movie is they don't show you the bad guy at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We see glimpses of things throughout each character, and then we get the reveal in the last act.
Yeah.
And like, I appreciate that because when we get the actual reveal, because then it's just like, okay, that's what that is, but still, what the hell? We still get that because like we see these other pieces get the rest of the way get unfolded because we've seen the end pieces of it. I think it was the principal.
Yeah.
We get to see some of the real power there.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I appreciated about this movie is set in 2025.
Yep.
And is mostly realistic.
Yeah.
And by the time our villain or our bad guy gets revealed, I'm kind of just like, how are we going to defeat this thing and have it be like a real satisfying, like real world ending?
Yeah.
And we get a little bit different than what I had expected, but like, I kind of liked how that played out.
Oh yeah.
Like we get to see like real people making real decisions, doing real things that would happen now.
Yeah.
Like the guy has trouble with this cop. He sees the cop and runs away from him because that guy just beat the shit out of me yesterday. Like those are real things that happen now.
Yep. And like it was crazy is like there's a lot of hubris that happened in this film.
Sure.
And
everybody's fucked up a little bit.
If one thing, if the person you're talking about who runs from the cops, right? If that one thing goes differently, this whole movie has a different ending, right?
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
And nowhere near as interesting as what we got. But it's like
Definitely
it,
different.
but I have a lot of like love for this genre, and adjacently, like I very much like dig into like the lore of like angels and demons and stuff, which gives me kind of like a biblical like kind of sidecar. There's a lot of biblical references in this movie the whole time. A lot of the nomenclature.
There's a lot of Parasite references.
A lot of
too.
Parasite references. A lot of nomenclature for like the characters are all biblical figures
All biblical
that all
names.
have apostles and stuff. So like there's a lot of symbolism in here religion wise. There's even I think some the whole school setting and the kids has its own connotation, I think, especially with Brolin's character. He has a dream within a dream too that has some crazy stuff happen in it. There's a lot in this movie that I really appreciate, like this things that don't get fully explained, but they're here if you kind of dig in a little bit, which is always cool to have like reviewings and reshowings and reasons to go back to. So this movie does a lot of things really well, and those are definitely some of those things that it does well.
Well, one thing I think that works in the movie's favor is in the very beginning, before you even see an image, it's black. The screen's black, and all you're hearing narration, and then it's telling you that
some little kid narrating, which is always creepy.
Well, this is a story that
always creepy.
You can't confirm, that no one will talk about, but this is how it happened. I'm like, okay, well, see now that it's easier for me to buy some of these elements because I've been told I need to. Which I think that's a problem a lot of movies have, is they don't give me a reason to buy into some of these elements, which I'm happy that this movie did, because I think it made the movie that much more satisfying. Both the beginning and the end is, especially with that wonderful setup. And a movie I always go back to because of the atmospheric is, in the late 90s, they did a bunch of those movies. Ashley Judd was in one that I love, Kiss the Girls, about someone who is abducting, raping, and killing women. But like, it's super creepy in how they bring it up. It's like, that's the opening I loved. It's like, what's happening to these kids? Is who's taking them and why? And I think, Chris, to answer some of your questions, you're rapid firing at me, and maybe not intentionally, but just kind of in some what you're saying is, the more interesting movie to me did not play out. The more interesting questions some did get asked, didn't get answered. And I love the supernatural element. And one thing I will never forgive, I think Warner Brothers did the Outsider.
The mysticism in this movie is really cool. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you guys ever watched the miniseries The Outsider on HBO Max.
I don't think so.
It was like 6 episodes. Those first 2 episodes, talk about you're getting inside my head. You're bringing me into this narrative, this town that's plagued by this thing. No one can find it. It's a changeling. It's deadly. Where is it? And then the other 4 episodes, I think it's 6 episodes, maybe 8. Yeah. So the other 6 episodes are just like, what? You can't give me a fraction of what you gave me in the first 2 episodes for this nonsense? That's kind of how I feel with Weapons. Is I kind of feel betrayed. I kind of feel like we never got an answer as to like why the villain is, how long they've been doing this, have they been siphoning for a while now? Is this
I get an idea. It's been a while.
The answer is a long time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, but we get a timeline of the familial connections, and it can't be that long because.
Oh, hold on. I don't think that's actually Aunt Gladys.
No.
Okay, well, let's not say any more about that. But okay, fair enough. Maybe I missed that, but I think we missed a lot of opportunity to really create something awesome and supernatural. I'm not saying what they did was bad. I think the movie is really great. There's something about this way of storytelling that unnerves me a little bit. It is very kind of millennial way to do it. It's kind of like, Captain Marvel in the last Avengers film before, or Endgame was, we've written this much and we have how do we bring in Captain Marvel? Well, she's too powerful. Well, bring her in only when it matters. There you go. Done. Okay, just move on. Move on. That's kind of how it feels to me, is they had this really incredible opening, this really powerful ending. Not really sure what to do with it otherwise to connect all the dots.
Well, I disagree with you, not fully, but like I think the mysticism and what they do with the elements that are happening and why things are going on, I think they do a good job with that. And I think that even in the very end, like there's something that happens with Salt that causes a trigger in the very end of this, and I think it's very effectively done.
Sure.
On screen, it's very sudden, it's visceral, it's jarring, and I think that it does what it goes to, it sets out to do something, and it completes that. What I don't, the part about the last act that I don't like is the actual very ending resolution, and not even what happens, but the 2 minutes on screen of it all coming to a close. Like what a very pivotal character ends up doing for the last 2 minutes of their scenes is, I feel like it belongs in a different kind of movie all of a sudden. I felt very much teleported out of my viewing and somewhere else, and then I'm back in it for the wrap up. But it was just a very odd choice to me, and maybe that was purposeful. Maybe they just couldn't figure out a good way for that to go. But that's the only part of the movie that I really am down on. I think all the rest, I think it fits pretty well, and I think that it's hard for a movie that has as much symbolism as it does and references that it does. It's hard to put all that in, and then to show your vision, and then to please all the the entirety of your viewing audience, because it feels like a lot of the symbolism and the choices made is very personal, and whenever you make personal choices, of course that's not going to resonate with everybody, because there's
Sure.
It's a little bit tougher to do that.
yeah, it's an array of personalities and people to appease, and I just don't think you're going to get that. And what, even though the movie didn't go the exact way I feel like would have been the best route for it, I'm still very high on where this thing ends up in the end, and had a good time with it all the way through.
Would you rather be stabbed in the face with a fork,
Mhm.
or have
multiple
your
times,
cheek,
multiple times.
or have a potato peeler run down your cheek?
Oh,
I'll take the fork.
Okay.
I've been stabbed with silverware, and I can,
Okay.
and I think I can handle that more than that. That peeler, man.
What about 3 needles?
I will still take the fork. 'Cause
hold on. Let's throw 3 needles from a known drug user, and you don't know where and who's
Yeah.
on it.
Hold on. 3 used needles.
3 used needles.
Used needles.
No, I'm taking the fork to the
Directly
face.
in the cheek meat too, by the way.
Yep.
Like
The
full fork.
cheek meat.
Cheek meat. Yeah, I'm taking fork all day long.
The fucking peeler. I was like,
Yeah.
don't like this.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. As a parent, there's so much happening here from that perspective too. That there's a lot of tragedy in this movie for a lot of different people and perspectives, and just it's there's people that you feel for, but at the same time you're like, God damn, that's really shitty, and just the whole way through. So the movie does a good job of tugging at you emotionally as well, which I think is a sign of effective storytelling. So,
I think this movie's good, man. I dig it.
It is. I'm thinking about trying to compare it to Longlegs and Smile, because I'm very high on those films as well, and I don't know yet if this is the better of them, because I think Smile to me has the better ending.
The first Smile, obviously.
Yeah,
not the second one.
First,
Okay.
I don't even consider the second one in the same ballpark as the first one. The ending to the original Smile is so strong, and it's
Fucking creepy there too.
Oh
man.
yeah, the lead up to that is decent, where the lead up to this one is better. But Longlegs, just it has that same wild ride at the very end of it. But man, it does a really good job of making you feel very unsettled in a way that feels like it could be real. This movie, the mysticism involved pretty early on in it, whereas Longlegs is just basically a really fucked up dude.
Yeah,
and
one fucked
that
up guy.
exists.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? It's
It's
kind of hard to go on that ride and pick one that I think is above the rest from my point of view.
I don't. This weapons, in a way that it was shown to us, in a way that it was introduced, and the villain, I would be hard pressed to use the excuse, well, it's not real, it doesn't exist, so I don't. The way, I mean, they presented, I think Roger used the term earlier, is it's in a very real world.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I think so.
I agree with that.
If someone wants to make the argument that this was an allegory for child abduction, yeah, fine, I'll listen to the. I could see
sure,
that.
maybe, yeah.
Now listen, I'm not saying mysticism don't exist. I'm saying if someone's got that mysticism magic, I can't mess with that anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
one thing I want to make,
I'm weak-willed.
Sure. Is so the ending is kind of Love Hate It is different tonally than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the last 5-7 minutes, we'll call it that. You know what it reminded me of is a movie we watched a while ago that we weren't quite as high on, with the whole last few minutes being way totally different. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
There could literally be hundreds of movies. What is it?
No, that we've talked about
Yeah,
recently. Talking about 28 years later.
Oh right, okay. Oh,
like
right.
with a real fucking wild card
Yeah.
in the last couple of minutes,
end.
right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to say what happens, but if you watch 28 years later, some characters are introduced that are reintroduced, I guess, that don't really fit the rest of the narrative,
whole vibe,
the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Now I won't. Weapons doesn't go quite that far out of left field, but it is a very different kind of thing that happens.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like there was there was a lot of similarities to that.
Yeah. If the whole Benihana music would have been playing, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like
Sure.
and it's like, it is a different feel all of a sudden. And the 28 years later is a good call out because it definitely felt like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
out of all the other things we've seen, this doesn't really fit this movie quite a bit. Now, I think Weapons fits a little bit more than that did in 28 years, but
there's payoff there that has some underlying tones to it and such. Yeah, I mean, you could even argue for like it's almost like a form of what would happen.
Sure,
you know, I don't want to spoil anything, so it's hard to say, but like it could you could argue a way for that to fit. Whereas in 28 years later,
you're like, what the fuck?
You still can't convince me that that should happen.
No. Yeah. Well, and I'm happy to say in this spoiler free, but still kind of a spoiler, is this does have a definitive ending.
It does.
Which
I'm too close
because I think I looked at my watch. So it started at 9 a.m.
This movie's like 2.5 or what 2:10.
Well, it started at 9. The credits. So the preview started. So it probably started around 9:25, 9:30, and at 11:15 we were still not done with it's the girl, and then it's the archer, and then it's the principal, and then it's the drug dealer, and then it's the cop and the drug dealer. Like we still weren't done with that. So I'm like, is this gonna end without like in like a very like kind of way, like just a hand? I was like so worried about that because you gotta allow time to flush out, and there was no more time because I knew the run line, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a joke. I'm glad to say it wasn't. However, there's a part of
different. That's all. Like it's just different.
I totally doesn't fit the movie. It doesn't fit the movie with what happens. Someone who's going to be that meticulous in how they set this up isn't going to allow what happened to happen. It's like
no. See, I disagree with you on that. I think that what happens is okay. I believe that the person that everything that happens like the mistakes were made and everything got too out of hand too quickly. I have no problem with that. I disagree with you on that. I do think that everything else you're saying, I'm with. It's
part of the plot armor thing is it's tough for me because I'm watching something and there's a little kid involved, and then there's also this supernatural element of things that are going to kill you in awful ways. So you know that it's just not gonna happen. So whatever he's gonna be able to squirrel his way through and solve it, you know that he's gonna be part of a solution, and that's not really. Maybe. There's a little boy in this, you know that from the trailer. I mean, he's got plot armor. Same as like most dogs have plot armors, most kids have plot armors. You're just never going to find a movie's not going to kill a kid on screen. Well, I mean, I guess a few have.
We've seen a lot more of that recently. Than,
but this one particular just wasn't. Just the way things were set up, he wasn't. So that in a way is like, okay, I know what has to happen, and I just don't know how they're going to do it.
The whole movie is covered with hubris, including
sure.
like what else is happening here, and I think that the hubris is what allows the kid to be able to be integral in the ending of this film. I think that's on point for what the story the movie's telling. Personally, this way I took it.
I think you could have taken away. I think you could have only gotten the points of view of the teacher, Archer, and the principal. I think you could have foregone the cop and the drug dealer, and just sum them up in a different way. But it's just, it would have been interesting for, say, if all these elements intersect and then they find out what they have to do. It's like, I'm just trying to play with my mind because the creative choice is what we got is what we got. I'm not going to change it. You obviously can't change it. However, I'm not in love with the idea of what they chose to do with the time on screen that we got. But it does, what that does what that does do is it allows for like the super creepy atmosphere building, which we got a lot of.
Yeah.
And I'm very
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when there's somebody in a house with 2 people that are not quite with us anymore,
Catatonic.
Yeah.
super creepy vibes in that, and like just the whole what's happening, like even as things get revealed to you, because you do get answers pretty early on in this on some subjects. Even then, it's like, oh, okay, like the movie is like a visual storytelling practice in and then because you get something and
then?
you're like, oh, that's what's happening, but now what? Like it's like it's like you're getting just a little bit more every time in some points, and it's like, oh, I don't like that. What happens now?
Yeah.
Like
Like,
it's just
I
these
don't
things.
feel that the parents were real. None of them. I thought the only real parent was Brolin because he was the only one that was actively searching for his kid. There's elements of this movie I don't. When you go to a movie like It, we got very quickly how you remember in the scene when the car goes by and the little fat kid sees the car go by right before he gets his thumb carved into his chest.
God
Is
damn,
like,
just going at that kid fat. Jeez.
well, I mean
All
that's
right.
Ben,
Hater.
whatever. Anyway, we see the red balloon in the back of the car, which tells us Pennywise has the town under his control. The adults are under his spell. Whatever he's going to do, no one's going to stop him unless it's kids, and that's fine. We never. The parents didn't seem real. The teaching staff never felt real to me. The principal was oddly hostile towards the teacher. It's just none of these elements felt real to me, which is kind of what kept taking me out of this
You thought
movie.
the principal was hostile towards the
The
teacher.
principal was completely in line with the teacher.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't. I think he wasn't like, what's the word? Maybe not. Maybe not. He wasn't as understanding as he should have been to like, you're my, like, there's nothing, like the cop said, we investigated the shit out of her. We can tie nothing to her. So the principal should have been like, okay, well, they investigated you, found nothing. I'm going to protect you as far as being a member of my staff.
I think he was trying.
I think he did. Was like, hey, you should take some time off.
She kept on. I think she kept on going. I think she kept on like digging and twisting the knife, though. Yeah, she was.
sure.
She kept on going. But I need this, but that, but this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well.
And he's more like, you need to not fucking come here for a while till things blow over.
I'm making your life as easy as possible. You're making mine harder. I need you to stop this.
And after all that goes down,
these people want to kill you. Don't come here for a while.
After all that
I will pay you to not be here.
After all that goes down, and she's told that she has health insurance, she get a paycheck, but she can't come to work. And then the next day, she's at the school, sitting in plain view in her car that says "witch" on it.
Yeah,
she follows the school bus and then walks behind the kid. Like, it just seems like, why?
That was my one big question mark moment.
On.
Like, I like when she was told not to be there anymore, and then she's just in her car that says "witch" on the side of it, facing the school. I'm like, okay, that's a little like. You got to park somewhere else, right? Like, like that's the only thing I had.
Down the block or some shit, right? Or get a different car.
Rent a car. You know, I mean, I know she's got booze money, so she got rent a car money.
Get a bike.
You're driving the most identifiable car in the city right now.
Because it says "witch" in big red letters down the side.
I did like the biblical references, Chris, you mentioned. I did like the references to all kinds of religious texts. And, you know, for vague and for not, I enjoy those. I'm just not sure.
The one thing that they definitely dropped in, I'm sorry, I mean,
no, you're good. You're good.
On you there is they definitely dropped in a bunch of Parasite references.
Yeah. Like
so like I definitely thought that could have been because like I mentioned earlier, like you don't get to see, like you get to see glimpses, but you don't know what is entirely happening until the last chapter.
Yeah.
So
and it becomes like the Parasite references all come into like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like as soon as like a certain couple of things are like
they still make some sense, but not in the way that you may have been thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
I disagree with you.
They're not subtle.
What do you mean?
I disagree with Roger in saying earlier. I wrote it down. Is the reveal is like as soon as a certain element is introduced, we know who's pulling the strings and we know everything.
Oh yeah.
You know who's pulling the strings, but you don't know the story of the kids.
Yeah.
You know that this person is involved 100%. You don't know what happened to the children.
Yeah.
Which is why I think in my mind, creatively writing this thing, the children became kind of a okay. We've done this. Without rewriting the whole script, what do we do with them now? It's, you know, I just...
It's almost like they could have just gave them back.
Well, I mean, like, well,
That would have been an
Parasite
interesting
references
story
are
arc to just
important.
one morning,
Just after a week or two, they're just back.
Isn't
and
there
they
a
have no
story?
memory. Like,
Isn't there a story that it's already done that, where like a bunch of people or a bunch of kids go missing, and then all of a sudden they just return?
wasn't that
And
The
everyone's like,
Exorcist that David Gordon Green ruined again? Is
no,
two kids
no,
came out of
this is like
That was a TV show
this
with
is
an
like a
airplane.
mass thing, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, there was an airplane where they disappeared
Okay, yeah. So
and just reappeared suddenly like 4 years later or some shit. Yeah.
that sounds right. So
they
it's
come
like
back and they're not right, and they're having trouble with, some of the parents realize, hey, my kid's aging kind of quick. How's your kid doing?
I
It's
don't like
like,
that. I don't
I
like
mean,
kids that age rapidly.
no, it's weird, man.
No, I
Benjamin
don't like
Button.
that.
It's no.
Yeah.
But
No,
like
that's not Benjamin Button. That's
No,
the
it's
other way
yeah, yeah.
around.
well,
It's
like
just-
so. I did like when old Principal Wong comes flying down Naruto style.
Yeah.
Like I
Dude,
picture that's
that was
I picture
that
the
was
way
unsettling.
he looked and the way he was breathing is what would happen if a pug got turned into like a half human, half pug, just to all the way down. I could
Just snorting
I
mad.
could not believe what was happening on screen for a second. I was like, this is weird and creepy
Should have
all at
popped
once.
out his sling ring and strikes him.
Teleports behind
That's
her.
it.
I like that idea, although again, the storekeeper's reaction to what was happening is like, "Are you fucking serious? Look at that! Look at the way that guy looks, and that girl's running in terror, and your reaction is tell her to get out of your store."
I do love that she gets her ass whipped in two different a liquor store and a gas station.
Yeah.
and I'm like consecutive days.
I do. I'm a fan that the Silver Surfer got to watch Thanos get the shit beat out
Yeah,
of
so
him
you
by
get,
Wong,
you get the Silver Surfer, you got Wong, you got Thanos. Yeah,
So Han Solo.
Oh yeah, a hell of a sci-fi cast here.
Han Solo, yeah, indeed, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just, I get it. People are gonna like it. They're gonna hate it. People are gonna have different opinions on it, which is what a movie like this does.
The last thing I'll say about this, because I think about how we close her down here, is
Yeah.
like I could absolutely see if you walked out of Weapons and be like, I don't fucking like it.
Yeah.
I could probably be like, I'm gonna need a little bit more info
Yeah,
on
yeah,
why,
tell me
but
why.
I wouldn't argue with you if you like I didn't like the ending, it took me out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well I kind of dug the ending. It's just totally different than the rest of the
I will
movie.
be
but-
100% on board with somebody if they go, man, that ending like really
Sucked me out of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
100%. I'd be like, no, I mean, I can't argue with you there, sir. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Sure.
just no way. But
Fair point.
yeah, but
And
like
that's what
other
movies
than
like
that,
these do. They
it's
make you
pretty
think.
good.
The movie makes
They
you
do.
think. At least it's gonna.
They're
There's
supposed to. Yeah.
there's more talk about this than Happy Gilmore 2 around the water cooler, I imagine.
Sure, of course.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is fucking a far superior film to that. So.
Oh god, yeah. They're not even the same realm.
No.
No,
They're
not
not, they're not down the same viewing avenue. You know.
The one thing I will tell you is I would love to watch more of a story like Weapons than I would ever love to see another Happy Gilmore.
Well, I would like to see an expanded weapon. I'd like to see like the 4.5 hour cut
Well,
of weapons.
I mean, interestingly enough, on that point, there's talks of like this and Barbarian like having like a shared universe kind of deal going on already in a way,
Interesting.
to where like
I never watched Barbarian.
this
so.
you should
You
this
should hold
specific-
on.
I don't
You
want to.
should probably avoid it. That's like
Thank
a
you.
Roger
Watch
recipe
it.
for
Fuck you. Fuck you.
It's good. This like this specific director having his own kind of like loosely connected universe, similar to like the Annabelle thing. That's that creepy ass doll, right?
Conjuring, yeah.
Yeah,
Conjuring
like
universe.
kind of in a similar way along those lines is like what's being talked about. So
Okay.
there's a whole website that's created by someone that worked on the films that like has a lot of references to the movies like crossed on them,
Nice.
which is cool. I like that.
That
kind
is
of
pretty
shit.
cool though. One universe with, I mean, like The Conjuring, that has like a bunch of like mysticism going on and demons, and like I like that idea that this movie you see, and then this movie a year later, and then this one 2 years later, they're connected. And it's like it's fun to think
Mhm.
about how they would be, and
Yeah,
I like that idea. And
it's like a
Marvel,
movie within a it's like a movie within a movie kind
and
of
like
deal.
Marvel kind of busted that whole thing open for a lot of shared universes now,
Yeah.
which is cool. And I mean, I think more should do that. Like John Wick and nobody should same universe.
Just hiding it from us. Just hiding it from you.
Cowards. Well, okay. Well, final thoughts then. You guys are you guys satisfied with what you've already said?
I have one more final thought.
Yeah.
I love to say the word weapons.
Yeah,
It's fucking powerful.
it's a good word.
It like weapons.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, I get that. I get
How about the point where he looks up in the sky and it's a gun? And I was like,
there's
cool.
there's a lot of allegory
Referencing,
happening
yeah.
in this movie. You know what I mean? So, not all that
He
I
saw
agree
a
with, but
weapon.
yeah, I mean, you did at 217. The I think my final thoughts on it would be this movie. If anybody tells you that don't go see this movie, the ending sucks. This is a movie you need to see and judge that for yourself.
Make your own decision.
That's
sure.
the only thing
That's
holding you
good
back from
call
this
out.
movie. You should probably see it. See this in theaters. Support good, well-made movies like this, in my opinion, and make that decision on your own. Because the ride to the end is still worth every penny of the admission price in this thing. I think this thing is worth seeing in theaters. This one's
I
good.
saw this sucker in IMAX. Let me tell you, it heightens everything in IMAX.
Really?
I would love for
I believe
Roger. I would love for Roger to see like a super creepy movie on like a massive IMAX screen by himself. No one else in the theater, just him.
Private showing.
Yeah, because the screen is just massive, and it really made some of those jump scares that made them hit harder and longer, and like the scissor scene in the car is like it's so good, man. And the aspect ratio is different than what you're going to get in other theaters. It's is on par, man. And I really hope that theater opening back in the Ohio Valley has a real IMAX screen.
I can't wait to go to an 11:35 showing of a movie like Weapons and be the only one in there. It's gonna be great.
You wait till like Roger. I know this is a weird kind of aside Weapons, but I love the 9 a.m. showings on the weekends. I love
morning showings
Yeah.
whenever I get them. I love them through the week. It's fucking great.
phenomenal.
I don't think
love
Marquee
them.
does anything but like earlier than 12, 15
No, they don't.
for us.
No,
do
they start their window opens like 11:30
Okay, gotcha.
or 11:15.
Interesting.
Well, I think it's safe to say it's a thumbs up from us, and it's
Yeah.
it's a
Go
good,
see Weapons. Tell us
Yeah.
what you think.
For
well
sure.
written, well realized movie.
Well done.
That's I'm happy we're getting. I'd like some more movies besides the horror ones to be good, but because we don't get a whole lot of those. But yeah, I'm relatively
I
happy
mean,
with Weapons.
Horror's kind of carrying right now. This like weird horror thriller area and
I
stuff.
mean,
but
we did have back-to-back comic book movies that were pretty
I was
decent.
gonna say, yeah, we had
Like,
we
let's
had
give them
some good
credit.
stuff there. I think another good one was what was it, like Monkey Paw or
The Monkey,
I don't know.
which I also just watched yesterday too.
Yeah, well, like, there's been some other good like horror stuff, suspense stuff in there. The other thing, last thing I'll say is we've also had like just very well done films like F1 and stuff too. Very good movie. You know what I mean? Making its run, also worth seeing if you're, I mean, still able to go see it if you haven't yet. It's a good one too to see.
I mean, legitimately, one of the worst movies we watched in a while was Jurassic Park, and that's still a Jurassic Park movie.
It's still an $800
Still
million
very much
movie.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Another disappointment is Jurassic Park Rebirth. Although I don't know what I expected because like come on, what's the
I
history?
kind of got everything I expected.
You
to be
expected
honest.
better. You are the fool.
Don't. Don't.
After I think Happy Gilmore 2, that's the one where, because you guys always ask me why did you expect so much from this crappy movie. I'm like, well, I was excited. Like I think Happy Gilmore 2 may have finally beat that out of me.
I think it's because you're a happy person.
Maybe your spirit's just been finally crushed enough to where
It
you can
hasn't
be.
though. Like he's still happy.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
fair.
not
I'm
sad
happy.
enough yet.
That's a whole different conversation for another episode. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for this episode. Happy to talk about this one. It was fun.
It was fun.
Thank you for joining us for episode 42 of
42.
Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio-only service such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podbean, feel free to head on over to YouTube. Check us out there also. Turn us on when you're doing work, whatever you're doing, cooking, you're making a burrito, maybe you're making a pizza. That sounds kind of good right now, doesn't it? Pizza.
Sure,
however you choose to watch
ordering
us.
Chinese right now.
Nice.
We look forward to seeing you next week for a movie that will not be named right now.
For next week? Next week's easy. It's nobody.
Yeah.
For
That
nobody
you can lock
too.
in.
I was trying to
have you-
create some suspense, guys. Damn.
Did you guys are you guys excited for Christopher Nolan's Mortal Kombat?
Oh boy.
I
Oh, boy.
wish.